My name's Corin. I'm 18 years old, and I was a CERT student for 4 years, so all of my years of high school. And before it, I had a large amount of Christians in my family, and so I'd grown up pretty Christian, but I hadn't actually had the opportunity to dive deeper theologically and understand Christianity. So by the time I actually started attending, I believed in God, but I didn't really know if I believed Christianity. I wasn't even sure whether it was true or false or anything. I had no idea because I'd only been to church. I struggled a lot with sexual abuse from family members that really just took a toll on my faith as well, because I found myself asking, why is this happening to me? I personally had a lot of trouble, getting through it, and remaining Christian. I lived a very sinful life. I struggled with a self-harm addiction that lasted for a very long time, started in middle school. I had a lot of problems with my parents. We had a lot of disagreements because at the time my parents didn't really know what was going on. I started attending CERT in high school, and all of my friends started eating lunch in CERT, and it just kind of became our community gathering place. And then the next semester I started going to CERT, and it kind of just started this journey of just being a CERT kid, which I kind of just stayed a little bit one foot in, 1 foot out for a long time. And then at some point, I feel like I dove fully in for a while. But at some point, it started becoming, I started feeling comfortable with it. I was able to have, debates with people. I was able to talk in class about it. But I also think that a lot of times when you hear the CERT stories, a lot of people, that's it. They just become Christian and everything's good. But I have struggled a lot with my mental health since I was in middle school. I started falling away from, Christ, started sinning a lot more, doing things that I wasn't supposed to do. I had struggled a lot with, my mental health, and something in my head just kept being kill yourself, kill yourself, kill yourself. I would sit there in class and I would just hyperfixate over that. I would be, paying attention to my teacher, and then my brain would just do that. Personally, I think it was likely an attack from the devil or a demon, just hearing how hurt I was and just this is your only option. And that's what I thought. I thought it wasn't going to get any better. It was constant for months. I would just hear that and I'd just be this is the only way, this is the only way. One night, I talked to some of my friends and I was like, guys, I think I'm going to kill myself. And they were like, no, I think you're not. That's not a good idea. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm a bad friend for bringing it up. But I was just trying not to. At first I was, asking for help. Guys, can you please just convince me not to? And then I was like, no, because this is going to stop me from doing it, and I have to, because if I don't do this, if I make them think that I'm actually going to do anything to hurt myself, my friends are going to tell someone. So I need to make sure they're calm and assure them that nothing's going to happen, because then I'm not going to be able to get away with this. And then the next day, I woke up, I'd stayed up till 5 the night before, and just sitting there should I do it, should I not? And then I woke up at 11 the next day. And I was like, this is it. No, I'm tired of it. I didn't get any sleep last night thinking about it. So I just drove down to a store and I stole a bottle of aspirin. I took probably about 75% of that bottle. And then I went to park in some parking lot. And I just sat there and I was like, I can feel it. It's working. And at first I was happy. And then I was like, I'm just going to go lay in the back of my car because I feel cold. Because at the time I didn't know, but blood thinners make you feel like you're freezing. And so I was, laying in the back of my car, and I feel like I'm freezing to death. I didn't feel like any of it was real. It was just I'd never been so it was so real, and it was very emotional at the time too, because I was very scared. But it was I literally felt like I was dying. I never felt that way before, but I could feel my heartbeat. It was slow, I was shaking, I was cold, and I just started praying to God. And I don't know, I was like, I'm sorry. I'm such a bad person. Why would I do this? I felt so alone. That was the problem, is I'm just sitting in this parking lot and I'm like, people are going about their daily lives. And I want to end mine, but it's like, just like, I'm scared, I'm cold, I don't want to be alone, I want to hang out with someone that I love, I want to see people that I love. So I called my friend, and I didn't tell them what was going on at all. I was like, can you please pick me up? So they took me to their work, and I just sat in the office, I just cried. They just stand there, and they just look at me like, what's going on here? Like, there's more to the story, And I'm just like, I think you need to take me to the hospital. And there's like almost at a moment of realization. So the conversation the night before I'd had with our other friends, and they just had like a moment of realization. And before I said anything, I could tell that they knew as well. And so I just looked at her and I was like, yeah, I took a bunch of pills and I'm not okay. And I think I'm going to die. And she just looked at me and she's like, what the? She's like, we're leaving, we're going. And so I went to the hospital, and it was still very miserable, I was throwing up all the time. I honestly think I probably threw up at least like 10 times that night. It was really gross, actually. And never again, it's really gross. And my parents came and they were just so sad. I really regretted it after that. I saw how sad my parents were. It wasn't just, God who I feel like didn't want me to go yet, which is, of course he wouldn't let me die. He loves me. Obviously it was my entire family, all of my friends, everyone. They were all there for me. There's God, all these people that were just like there for me that I couldn't see, And it was just, I think I needed something like that to happen to me for me to see just how many people were there for me and what lengths people would go to help me and make sure I was okay. I started growing so much spiritually after that happened. It's like I needed to become I needed an open wound so God could heal it, It's like re-breaking an already broken arm so that it can heal right. And I think that's it's probably the best way to describe it. When I had first called Caesar after everything happened, I was like, you know what? Don't let me stray away from God, And that's one of those things that I kind of learned from that, is that I was like, I'm here for a reason, didn't work for a reason, and I feel like I'm just, I can only improve from here. Started, being more active in CERT. I started attending youth group. How close I got to God through Caesar's help and through CERT's help, I was able to report the family member who had sexually abused me as a child. So it was hard and it was really scary and I was scared, but I was able to get justice for a little girl who had been waiting for a really long time, and it, I think, healed a part of me. And the first person I told was Caesar, Caesar's kind of like, I feel like a little bit of a church, like he's like a little bit of a godfather, to all the CERT students. It's a blessing because here I am. I moved away for college, which I didn't think I was going to go to college. Everything that's happened to me up until this point has been, all a part of this plan that I couldn't see in the past, but, God is the one who gave me the strength to get through the plan that I thought was so hard. And now I'm here and I have a great life, and I'm really glad that everything worked out in the end, and I'm glad that I had Caesar and CERT to support me throughout all of it.